Yeah, Candeli L in the house, Aqua Ghana, Bitcoin ballin', bring it to you raw. Here we go. Bitcoin ballin', gonna chat callin', what you need, baby I got you. Bitcoin ballin', Aqua we all in, it's our time, no more sleeping.
My dream has come true. I got rid of Robin. He's no longer here. Yes. No more story time. No more rambling. No more BS. What is going on, crypto fam? Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. I am your main co-host. Just kidding. I'm one of your co-hosts, David. We are coming at you live from our studio here in Sin City, Nevada, without Robin. Huge day for us. We kicked him off the show. We bought him out. We have a new co-host. Just kidding. Gave Robin some time off. He might pop in later. We don't know yet. Hopefully not. We'll just take his time off and go swimming in the fountains at where's he at? Lake Las Vegas. Anyways, before we get into content, quick disclaimer. Nothing that's said on this channel should be taken as financial advice, so please do your own research. With that being said, I want to introduce you to my new favorite co-host, the better-looking other co-host, Mr. Eddie. What's up?
What's up, guys? My name's Eddie. I know you guys met me before. I'm your media guru.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means, but
we don't know either, but we like it. It's actually social guru.
Social guru. Media
social.
Guru, social guru, same thing. Hope everyone's having a good day. Yeah, so what we got planned today?
We got a lot planned. First of all, if you're watching this show, please like the video. It's that little thumbs up thing right there, and it makes a cool little confetti thing. Second, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help us out. We're growing. Grow with us. And third, ping the notification bell. We put out content all the time. We might do some emergency streams here and there. So you want to know when we go live and when we do our deep dives. So with that being said, Eddie, would you please give a shout out to our loyal
Yes. What's up, everyone? So we got Gilbert first in the chat. Brokioshi, Olga. Hi, Olga. Chef Murder, Stereo 2. And Talks. Who else we got? Chris. And it looks like pretty much it.
You say what's up, my bro, Brokioshi? Tell me that's not the coolest, name.
Yeah.
Brokioshi no dinero. Satoshi Nakamoto, Brokioshi ain't got no dinero.
When I first said it, when I first read the screen name, I had to say it like 10 times to figure out what.
Brokioshi?
Yeah, Brokioshi no dinero. I was like, what?
That's where me and you differ, Eddie, because I caught it right off the top. Guy, there is so much that happened yesterday. The markets were you want to talk about tanking. They were literally Bitcoin fell off the face of the earth. UST fell off the face of the earth. Terra Luna fell off the face of two earths. And we're going to go over all of that here during our market overview and our market analysis segment. But first, let's kick off the show. And let's talk about what happened yesterday. So a few tweets I have pulled up here. So let's start with Thorchain. So if you're not familiar with Thorchain, they are essentially a layer one that does cross-bridge. It's a cross-bridge DEX. They have a Terra Luna bridge, which ended up being shut down. If you pull up my laptop, Rocco, this is a tweet from Thorchain yesterday. Quick update on TerraChain. Nodes are resyncing the chain, but heavy usage on Terra, lots of transactions, is causing them to fall behind the tip. Thorchain requires operating at the tip at all times, currently waiting for the nodes to get to the tip before reactivation. And then they replied to their own tweet saying, remember, Thorchain settles to a layer one. A centralized exchange can trade IOUs while they scale up their infrastructure. Thorchain requires 105 nodes to work in tandem together. And when the nodes went out of sync, when that ginormous selling pressure came in on Terra Luna and UST, the nodes got out of sync. And unlike a centralized exchange where they don't necessarily, it's like a bank, right? You deposit money in your bank. That doesn't mean that every single dime that people deposit is held at that bank. Same thing with these centralized exchanges. When we talk about buying on a centralized exchange, you are not owning the token itself. You are just owning the right to sell and trade that token. So on centralized exchanges, they can keep it going. They can keep the buying and selling going because just like this Thorchain said, they go off of IOUs. And it gives them time to replenish their stock if more people are buying or more people are selling. With Thorchain that settles on the actual Terra Luna chain, they can't do that. And so they had to shut down their Terra chain, no bueno. And then one of our favorites, Mr. Hoskinson. This dude is an absolute savage. He does not give a crap. He does not care. So back in April 7th, Do Kwon, which is the founder of Terra Luna Labs, tweeted, "We may buy ADA for negative correlation." This is when ADA was tanking. Well, Charles fired back. He said yesterday, he tweeted, or today, this morning at 3:30 in the morning, "Should I buy some Luna for negative correlation?" Funny. Eddie, do you like Charles? Do you like his do you think he's too on the edge, like too, like poking at these topics, or you think it's good?
I like him. I think one thing I don't like about him is his voice and how calm he is.
He's, that's a good point. For someone who's always talking crap, he does have a very calm voice.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to understand him sometimes, but I like him. I like that he pokes at it. He's well known in the crypto community. So, yeah, I like him. I like what he has to say. I think his opinion matters in some point.
Oh, of course.
And,
he's a mathematician.
Yeah.
So the guy talks in a whole different language than we do. So even me, I have a hard time sometimes not understanding, but really understanding, comprehending what he's trying to say and the message he's trying to get across. So sometimes I'll sit there and watch his YouTube videos 2-3 times just to find okay, this is what he means. And then also.
So David.
Yes.
Chef Murder wants to know where Rob's at.
Rob might be gone from this channel forever. Just kidding. No. Rob's spending some family time with his kids. His daughter's here from Israel. His son's here from Washington. So they're having a little family get together. I told him, go and take some time off. Enjoy it with your kids. But he said he wants to pop in. I don't know if I'm going to let that happen.
You want to tell the people the truth, though?
All right, what's the truth?
You want to tell them the truth?
Go ahead. You tell them the truth.
Okay. So I've been knowing Rob for a couple of years, guys. Probably like 3-4 years. And he's a dreamer, and that's why I like him a lot,
He's a dreamer or
He's a dreamer, yes. He's a dreamer. Okay. Yeah, he's a dreamer. So he has all these aspirations. When I first met him, he wanted to be a chef. That didn't work out.
Hold on, is this Eddie's story time?
Yeah, it's my story time. It's my story time. Pop up the story time.
Yeah. No, because then we got to see Robin's ugly face.
Okay, no, forget the story time.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, chef, Murder wanted to be a chef. I mean, Robin wanted to be a chef. Sorry, and that didn't work out. Then he wanted to be a YouTube star, man. He wanted to be like a streamer for playing video games.
Yep, I remember that.
That didn't work out either because I was better than him, and that made no sense,
So you're saying you're better than Robin?
Yeah, I'm better than Robin in Warzone, for
wow.
sure. Yeah,
Robin, if you're watching, shots fired, my friend. Not literally, figuratively.
And now he told me he's had this whole story of how he wanted to be a YouTube star in crypto, and I was his first choice, David. I don't know if you knew that.
You were?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But he didn't want to have a better looking guy on the show. So
makes sense.
He chose you.
Makes sense.
That's what he wants to do now. He told me.
He wants. So
are
you saying he failed?
He failed. Yeah, he failed.
He failed. Okay, star. So he left.
Yeah. Now,
there you go, guys. There's the low, dirty scoop on Robin and why he's not here today. Eddie, thank you so much. See, now that's a story time I can sit here and listen to over and over again. Not, back in Granby High School, I was homecoming king. I rolled 77s. None of that crap today, guys. We're talking straight crypto. Eddie, I just want to say, man, I love you, bro.
I love you too, man.
You see that, Robin? That is what a real co-host is. That is what a real friend is. A man who is not afraid to tell another man, I love you. If they really care about him, please take note. Eddie, you're hired. You're already hired anyways. All right, so back to this article here. So Rand Newer, the man behind Crypto Banter, the YouTube channel. He got caught a lot of flack for tweeting Cardano doesn't have a working DEX. The Cardano community absolutely annihilated him on Twitter. So he went out. He even got Charles Hoskinson to retweet him. He went out and created a video of him using a Cardano DEX. And now, after what happened with UST, he came to the defense of Do Kwon. He said, take a minute to think about Do Kwon and what he is going through today. He has to protect the project and one of the biggest hodler and builder ecosystems in crypto. Brother, keep fighting. We know you will get us out of this. To which Charles replied, it's almost as if when you build a DeFi ecosystem that you should do so in a systematic and measured way using proper protocol design, peer review, and the application of formal method. It's like others people's money is at stake and you have a moral obligation to do your best. So what is he saying? He is saying, this is what happens when you rush. Look at Solana. Look at UST and Terra Luna. That's what happens. You want money fast? It'll go just as fast. And so when people complain about Cardano, why is it taking so long? Do I agree it's taking long? Yes. But you don't, I mean, can't 100% say with certainty, but I have far more confidence in Charles Hoskinson and Cardano that something like what happened with Terra and UST yesterday will never happen on Cardano. Stuff that happens on Solana, all those DDoS attacks, the network going down for hours will not happen on Cardano. Now, I could be wrong. I was wrong about Sunday Swap when I said Sunday Swap is going to launch without a glitch, and it did. Right, Rocco? How long did you wait for for one of your swaps to happen?
I waited for a long time and probably 2 months. And
2
now,
months?
And now that they dip, pretty much my order, I wasn't able to cancel the order.
Ugh.
Either. So yeah, it wasn't a great, it wasn't a great trade. No, for sure. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
So months to settle a transaction on Sunday Swap. So I could be wrong again, but, and you'll see in our Cardano video when we release it tomorrow, what makes them different, why they're taking so long. And here is him saying, you want speed, here are the negatives. Here are the drawbacks to speed. And so keep an eye on that. And then another thing, Do Kwon, the founder of Terra Luna, tweeted today at 8:30 in the morning, close to announcing a recovery plan for UST. Hang tight. And then people were saying, Do Kwon, why is he being so quiet? The last thing he tweeted was getting out more capital steady. He said, didn't mean to be so quiet, needed razor focus to deliver. Thanks everyone for their support. And let's just check and see if he's tweeted anything in the last 2.5 hours. No, he is not. So he tweeted close to announcing a recovery plan 2 hours ago, and yet nothing. Now, could part of their recovery plan have been to sell all their Bitcoins from the Luna Foundation Guard, the LFG? Did they let's fucking go of all their Bitcoin? Let's find out. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They currently, the Bitcoin wallet for Luna's foundation is at 0 Bitcoin. And Rocco, if you take my picture away, you see on the far right, that's what we call capitulation. Just completely giving up on a market, giving up on everything. Now, you can see the transactions here. They had initially sold 42,000 Bitcoin at 30,700 to try and balance the imbalance between the protocols, especially Anchor. There was way more people trying to sell UST than there were other on the back end. And then they bought back 28,000 and they sold that, bringing them to 0 Bitcoin. Now, the important question is, will they rebuy Bitcoin? Because if they do, I suspect we'll see Bitcoin get close to that $34,500 range again before we drop back down to this level. I think we will be channeling between 29 and 34,000 over the next, I'd say, month and a half to 2 months. Barring any huge announcements, which we do have one coming from the Treasury Secretary, and we'll go over that during a hot take. So we do have one of those, but we'll see if UST can survive, if this whole Bitcoin reserve can be pointed to, hey, this is the only reason UST did not go to 0, then I believe they will buy more Bitcoin, which naturally will push the price up. Now, as far as Michael Saylor, I don't see him buying any more Bitcoin. I mean, he's got a leveraged loan out already. And for a publicly traded company, when your assets go in the negative, you have to sell some, if not all of it, per your investors, per your shareholders. So his price target is about $29,200. And I could be off by a few $100s. So he was probably sweating bullets yesterday when Bitcoin wicked down to 29. I'm not sure if it got all the way down to 29 too, but it got close. But this is just short term for Bitcoin, you guys. If you're like me, like Eddie, like Rocco, like Robin, if you're watching our show and you understand crypto, you believe in crypto, you believe in Bitcoin, this is just a small bump in the road. If anything, this was a buying opportunity for all of those of you who sat there and watched Bitcoin rip from $29,000 to $69,000. saying, should I buy now? Should I buy now? I missed the top. I missed the run up. This is your chance, guys. If you were comfortable buying Bitcoin at 54,000, why are you not comfortable buying it at 30? How does that make any sense? I'm not telling you should buy Bitcoin. I'm just saying, if your sentiment when Bitcoin was pumping was, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to change the world. Bitcoin's going to make me rich. Bitcoin's going to this. Then what's changed? What's changed? That's all I'll say. Eddie, do you think Terra Luna will buy more Bitcoin?
Yeah, in the long run, yeah. Not right now.
Not right now?
Not right now. Maybe in the long run.
I mean,
I see it happening in the long run for sure.
Are you going to see a better price point than 29, 30K though?
As far as like it going down?
The price of Bitcoin, yeah.
Yeah, going down?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so too.
If they keep continuing
but let me ask
Federal
you,
Reserve with the interest rates heights, I think it's going to go down, which they are. So, yeah, I think it's going to go down.
So here's a question I'm not just going to pose to Eddie and Rocco, but to our chat as well. What happens if it's still already depegged, but what happens if Terra starts or UST starts tanking again? There's no more Bitcoin reserves. The balance is zero. What are they going to do? If they decide to buy more Bitcoin, good for Bitcoin. The price goes up. But what else are they going to do? Right? So got to think about that too.
They're going to call Michael Saylor.
They're going to call. Hey, Saylor, can we borrow some of your Bitcoin real quick? We'll pay you 10% interest on the back end. No. So look, yesterday's event, you can call it a black swan event. Yes, UST has depegged from the dollar, but nothing like it did yesterday. Lost 40% of its value, and it's supposed to be pegged to the dollar. Now, there were people who made a shitload of money. The people that bought UST at 60 cents and are now, as the markets are starting to balance more, are now reselling that UST for 1 USDC, 1 USDT, Terra Luna, whatever the case may be. So they've essentially arbitraged 25, 30%. That's huge. A lot of people lost money, but also a lot of people made money as well. Now, let's move on to our market overview. Let's talk about, first, what the traditional markets are doing. So let's pull up my laptop again, please. Now, I'm going to refresh this real quick. We have the S&P 500 up 1%. NASDAQ is up 2%. It was up over 300 points early this morning, but we see, and if I go to the 1 month chart, we see we kind of bounced off this low of 11,600, and now we are currently sitting at 11,854, up 2%. Now, I real quick want to go to this NASDAQ chart. Now, I believe it was 2 days ago or yesterday, I talked about this gap right here filling, and gaps typically fill. Now, for us to fill this gap, we're going to have to go up another, if I use my ruler here, where we currently are right now, we're going to have to go up another 3.4% to fill this gap. Will it happen in this trading period today? I don't think so. That would put the NASDAQ at up over 5.5%, or sorry, a little under 5.5%. In current macro conditions, I would say not really feasible, but inflation reports come out tomorrow, and we are projected to be under the 8.5 that we saw in March. And we're expected to come in at 8.1. And I called it last time. I said, I think 8.5 is the top. And if the forecast comes true, it does seem like it was a top. And so now you see sentiment in the market start changing. People start thinking, okay, well, maybe inflation hit a top. Inflation's coming down. That's good. Also, maybe the feds won't be so hawkish. They won't say, hey, 50 basis points, 75 basis points. Maybe they'll scale it down. And now you have greed returning into the market as far as sentiment goes. And we know what happens during greed. People start buying. But what should we be doing during greed? We should be taking profits. So just keep your eye on that. Still think there's going to be a lot of volatility going on. So now back to the chart here. If I pull up the Dow Jones is up 0.37%, sitting at 32,600. And then if we take a look at where are the global markets? Right here. If we take a look at the global markets, so the EU markets, everything is in the green. If we take a look at the Chinese markets, if we look at the Asia markets, everything, most of it's in the red. You got the Hang Seng is down 368 points That is essentially the Dow Jones of China. So Chinese market is not looking too good, but there are not whispers, but more lockdowns due to the pandemic, which should affect supply chain issues, which is another reason the market sentiment is bad right now. They saw what happened with the COVID-19 lockdown. They saw what happened to the supply chain, how it disrupted, how it just astronomically pushed inflation up, and what it did in the short term for the markets. Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Do you think we've seen the top for the CPI for inflation? Was 8.5 the top? I think we can go higher.
I think so. I think
it was
so.
the top?
Yeah, I think that was the top. Yeah.
I agree.
Can it go higher? Yes, especially with the whole China thing. I'm hoping it doesn't, but I don't think it will.
I don't think so either. And President Biden spoke today, and he talked about inflation. He was supposed to talk about how they plan on helping with inflation, what the White House's plan is. And essentially, all he said was pandemic and the supply chain is the issue for inflation, along with the Russia-Ukraine war. And he also hyped up the job market, the economy. He talked about his plan. Part of his plan is to talk to these large corporations and say, hey, stop price gouging. This is how we're going to bring inflation down.
Dave, in that case, I have just got a connection to the White House, and I'm going to patch an expert that is going to jump in and is going to give an idea of what's going on. If you just give me a second.
Do we have the press secretary, Jen Psaki?
Yeah. So
we do? Okay.
Let me patch it in very quick.
Okay.
And let's see if that works. There we go.
Oh, that's not Jen Psaki. Man, get rid of this ugly dude. Man, you just ruined the show, bro. Rocco, you're
What's
fired.
up?
You're fired.
Ah,
What's up, Big Rob? How you doing?
what's happening, bro?
Not much, man. So,
Oh man, I'm relaxing. I got the palm trees behind me, man. Feeling good, man. Just watching the stream like
where are those, crazy
like
kids
everybody
here?
else.
You take them to the.
I
daycare
locked them in the. I put them in the room and I locked it and I said, if you guys don't break anything and nothing crazy happens, I'll buy you some Pokemon cards. So I had to dangle the carrot.
Pokemon cards.
Make sure they're real, bro. Make sure
Yeah.
they're real.
Yeah, make sure they're real. Don't do
Hey.
what Jake Paul did, or was it?
You
Jake
know,
Paul
you
or
know
Logan
something.
Paul?
I went to go pick him up some Pokemon cards when he first got here, and I went to one of those comic book stores that like sells like used video games.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Never go to a comic book store that sells used video games.
No way.
Because I was in there like trying to talk to dude about Pokemon because I've been out the Pokemon game for a minute. And so, anyways, I'm up in there and I see somebody trading in a Nintendo, and lo and behold, I see roaches crawling out of the Nintendo, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, dang. And then the guy that was the employee was just looking, and he didn't even say nothing. I know he saw the roach. And then he was like, "Yeah, I give you $50 for it." I'm like, "Damn!" I'm like, "No."
Can I get an extra 5 for this roach or what?
I was like, "You got to avoid that, bro. You can't complete the transaction if you see a roach crawl out of the system." So, anyways, man, that's
funny.
That's my
All
story
right.
there.
So, Rob, I don't know
but
how long you stay with us, but let me ask you this question:
what's up?
Do you think with the inflation report set to come out, projected to be 8.1, so 0.4 under what we saw in March? Do you think 8.5 was the top? And do you think when the report comes out tomorrow, if it does hit the forecast under 8.5, do you think the markets are going to rally?
Okay, so a couple things. The market is supposed to, well, the Feds are predicting that the markets are going to be under what was last month. So we're supposed to start seeing a gradual decline. But you know what surprised me was that I was watching the press, Biden's press thing on when it comes to inflation. And his quote on it was that it won't see a decline. He said he was not going to make any predictions, but he was saying he doesn't think we're going to see a major decline until the end of the year, this calendar year. So it sounds like he might be buttering up the narrative that it's still high. Now, whether or not it's worse than the month before, I mean, we are in uncharted territories. Let's not kid ourselves there. We are sitting at over 8%. I mean, first of all, inflation, you shouldn't even have inflation. I mean, I guess 1% or 2%. They've because we've had so much inflation through the history of our government that we just think, hey, 2% inflation, that's natural, that's cool, that's okay. Yeah, like, well, is it actually 2%? It's probably more like 4 or 5%. But either way, they've built this narrative that it's okay to inflate and debase your value slowly, as long as they do it slow enough to where you don't notice it year to year. Like, okay, well, you know what? If I look back 10 years, anybody could think of it, every 10-year interval, you can look back and you can identify whether, you can take this last 2 years out of the equation, but you can go back from, 2019 to 2009, and things are more expensive. Rent is more expensive. Groceries are more expensive. Same thing when you go back to 1999. 1989. So, it's a gradual bleeding, and now the problem is that it's out of control, and now it's way faster. And now they're trying to tell you like, oh yeah, we'll get it back under control. And so I think this new inflation number target is going to be around 3 or 4%, which is absolutely terrible. And so, we're fortunate enough to be in crypto. We're fortunate enough to be in a space where we can we have options. We don't have to rely on the bank accounts and the government printing and the politicians' policies because we can, secure our assets in the future and hedge against inflation. So, what I also took away from that Biden's
By the way,
inflation meeting.
what percentage of what he said did you actually understand?
He was like, okay,
He's
when you
worse
go to
than
like
you, bro. He's worse than you. At least you kind
No,
of make
no,
sense when
okay.
you're talking. He just rambles.
So-
and like, what?
I felt like listening to his speech, like like when you go to granddad's house and you want some candy and you're like little and the granddad's like, well, let me tell you, just like shut up and give me the candy, man. That's how I felt. I was like, just shut up and get to the point, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Also, he spent the first 20 minutes of that one just hyping up the jobs, and the thing was he also blamed. Here's the funny part. So Biden was like, there's two reasons we had inflation. Number one was the pandemic, and then in turn was the supply chain issues that followed, and then two was Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Time out. Where the hell? How about the fact that y'all printed double? You increased the money supply by 2.5%. By 2.5 times since what was it? 2020. Since the beginning of 2020. So in the last 2.5 years, you've more than doubled. You're just endlessly spending, and then now that people are throwing their arms up, being like, "Yo, what in the hell are y'all doing in Congress? Like, what are y'all doing?" And at this point, they're like, oh yeah, inflation, yeah, and then you blame it on something else, and it's very, very, very basic. You know what? If you don't have enough money to pay your bills because you went out on a spending spree and you didn't make any more money, you just sound like a deadbeat dad trying to blame your frivolous spending on something else, and it's a little upsetting. But I also want to say, yesterday was really cool around the blockchain. I saw some of the people here in the community over there, and then I know we grabbed some new subscribers from there. So if you're new if you're new here on the channel, we welcome you, and thanks for the support on the channel. Terra Luna, you know what? I want to say, like, I ain't trying to pat myself here on the back, but I feel like I'm one of the only people that was over here yelling about the fact that this algorithmic stable coin is lots of points of failure that are dependent on stabilization in the market. And when you get big sell-offs, when you get the price of Terra Luna dumping and or Bitcoin, it's hard to keep all the variables of a complex algorithm stable. And especially when you have people with tons of investment in said projects that could benefit from dumping or selling or manipulating the market. So that's what we saw there. I do think. Robin. What's up?
So I know you've been watching the show since the beginning. We showed the Luna Foundation's Bitcoin wallet, and they cleared it out. 0 Bitcoin left. Do you think they'll replenish?
That's insane, bro.
Do you think they'll replenish?
Yeah, they will. Here's the thing. Like, they're crypto people, just like we are. Do Kwon's crypto guy. His team is. I mean, why else would you have started a chain? Obviously, and if you're a crypto guy, I'm pretty sure everybody understands the power of Bitcoin. And so, with that said, I don't think that they've abandoned Bitcoin. They're not trying to sell off to a point where they just like, oh, we don't care about crypto anymore. They're not. It's not like they're giving up on their project. So, the idea that you back with Bitcoin, I mean, here's a better question. What would have happened if they didn't sell their Bitcoin? You get what I mean?
Right.
Like
Well,
did they save the sinking ship, or was it kind of just help bring it back quicker than not?
Here's an even better question to your better question. Is what happens if this thing starts tanking again and there's 0 Bitcoin in their reserves? What do they do now?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, man. I mean, here's the thing. I think here's scenario 1. If Bitcoin goes down to say under 20,000, I think from what we've seen, and I think people are going to panic because right now, if you're holding UST, you're kind of on edge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting on edge, and you're like, hey, man. And I think anybody that's holding UST, if they see the price, if they know the price is going to just keep tumbling down to say 19,000, I mean, pretty sure there's going to be a large portion of the people that are going to liquidate UST and Terra Luna. And so I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. But here's the thing: they're you got to keep in mind the way that UST is supposed to work. They're the new 2.0 UST is that with every microtransaction or every transaction period, they're supposed to take the transaction fee and buy Bitcoin, and then keep it in a like a separate wallet that's attached to this algorithm. However, what happened was they just kind of jumped the gun. I don't want to say jumped the gun, but they figure, hey, why don't we start accumulating Bitcoin now, and then we have it on hand, and we're going to be doing this anyways with the algorithmic stablecoin. However, that wasn't implemented yet, so they're not automatically buying Bitcoin, and what they're doing is they're just taking the money on hand and just buying Bitcoin. And so, anyways, it wasn't there yet. And in the future, when they do roll out this automatic buy, is that if there is deviations in the algorithm as far as the price, they can automatically pump in Bitcoin instead of just trying to take a bucket and just dumping Bitcoin on a fire. They can, as part of the algorithm, when you get a little bit of slippage on the number, it'll automatically, per the algorithm, start filling in the gaps with Bitcoin. However, it's not there yet. It's just an algorithm, and the algorithm right now, and the reason we saw the price is that you buy and sell UST and Luna, and you use it to your advantage to make a little bit of money in between. And so the price of UST drops a little bit. You in turn sell it and buy sell it and buy Terra, and then vice versa, and then it levels the price out. And so Bitcoin was not a part of the equation. They were just trying to dump Bitcoin on a fire. And so, anyways, that's what I got.
Quick, Rob, this is Rocco. I have a question. What do you think it's, like Robinhood, they stopped the trading when it was a squeeze. Do you think in some point, if there is a need, the exchange can jump in and say, okay, let's help out and let's stop the trading or UST?
So a couple of things happen. With UST. For one, UST used to, when this thing started popping off, UST really only lived on the Terra Luna ecosystem. And then little by little, you saw it listed on Coinbase, you saw it listed on Binance. You're starting to see it on all these different exchanges. And so the price that we're seeing on Terra Luna, on UST, the price that you're seeing, this sub $1, is the price that is trading at on all the exchanges. And I don't think they necessarily factored that in. And you know what? The algorithm doesn't. The algorithm has it's not balancing itself out on exchanges. So on exchanges, the price is what the price is. You know what I mean? And so on the they went out yesterday and they tweeted out the Terra Luna Foundation. They tweeted out like, hey, we the price of UST is still $1 on our chain. However, it's trading at a massive discount on other exchanges. And so, if you were trying to, if you were in the game of balancing out the price of UST, I mean, that was a great opportunity. I mean, right now it's at 90 cents. I mean, where else could you have bought in this down market? Where else could you have bought a 60 cents, a token for 60 cents, and you pretty much are guaranteed to bring it up to $1? Like, I mean, so here's the guarantee: either the whole thing crashes or it comes back to $1. And I think USD.
I mean, if they went as far as to sell all their Bitcoin, they're obviously not trying to let it tank, and they're trying to save it, which it looks like they did. Because as I transition over to our market overview, if we pull up my laptop.
One last thing. I tried to I tried to see if I could put in a long position on UST. There was no there's no leverage trading pair for UST on the exchanges yesterday. So I just assumed. No, what I'm saying is, like, obviously you can put a like a 2 or 3x leverage position on like Bitcoin. I was like, hey, can I put one of these in on UST? Because I know it's going to go back to $1. Yeah, that wasn't even an option. But
speaking of UST, 91 cents. So we've climbed up through the depths of our low of 69 cents that we saw. If I go to the 7-day, we dipped as low as 67 cents. And so we've kind of regained a majority of that. We still have about 9 cents to go before we are fully repegged to the US dollar. Will it happen today?
Where's the market cap? Where's the market cap for that?
So UST's market cap is 16.3 billion.
Well, click on it and then click on it like you did for the chart, and then just pull up the chart there instead for market cap. Yeah, at the top it'll tell you. There you go. No, is that market cap?
Yep.
Okay.
So if we go back 7 days, so the market cap was sitting at about 18.6 billion, tanked all the way down to 13.2, and now it's back up to 16.1, 16.3.
There's still a lot of money tied up in it, man.
I mean, the UST market cap is now higher than Terra Luna's market cap, so that's pretty interesting.
It's a great time to get into Terra, man. I mean, these are the times that if you're interested in a Terra project, I think it's one of the most solid projects out there. And, if they, which I'm assuming so, if they get the UST thing kind of figured out and they start incorporating automatic buys of Bitcoin and start leveraging that as security in the way that it should be leveraged, I mean, we all saw the rise of Terra, and I don't see why it wouldn't keep pumping. But
if you guys are wondering why Terra Luna dumped, is because in the algorithm you are able to claim 1-to-1 UST to Luna. So what people were doing is when UST was starting to dump, they were claiming their Luna and they were immediately dumping Luna on the market to try to stay solvent, to try and just cut their losses as much as they can, preserve as much of their capital as possible. We're going to go over some metrics during our market analysis. Anchor Protocol got absolutely destroyed. There was over 50% total value lost in the Terra chain as a whole. Same for Anchor Protocol. So no bueno. Now, we're sitting currently at $31,580 for Bitcoin. Volume is up to 68 billion. Not bad. The total crypto market volume is 191 billion. Now, is the majority of that sell or buy? We can kind of see it's a little bit of both. And we'll go over the charts later during our market analysis segment. Ethereum sitting over 2380 at 3.2% up over the last 24 hours. Binance Coin at 324. XRP 52 cents. If you've been eyeing XRP, man, 50 cents is a great buy, but you're just going to have to be patient. You have to be patient for this lawsuit to settle. Solana $70. I'm still waiting for Solana to get back up to $85, and I'm going to dump my bag, take a little bit of a loss, save that capital for the next big.
Hey,
downturn.
David.
Yo,
David, I got a question for you, bro.
what's that?
Do you think if the XRP and SEC case breaks, it comes to a settlement or resolution, whatever it is, and we're in the depths of a bear market, do you think it's going to rally, first of all, XRP? Second of all, the entirety of the market? I mean, let's just say Bitcoin's sitting at 22,000, and we're just been there for 2 months, and then the XRP SEC lawsuit settles. Do you think that's a short-lived pump, or do you think that's where do you think XRP is going to go, and or the crypto markets?
I think it depends on the macro, right? If we're in a recession, I don't think the XRP case can catapult us into a bull market, but it might give us some relief. We might see 10 to 12% rise in the price of the market in general, maybe a little more for XRP. But I honestly think there's only two things that can really pull us out of a big bear market, right? And still, you got to think about the macro climate. One is a spot ETF being approved in the U.S. That essentially means the SEC is behind Bitcoin. You don't have to worry about them trying to ban it or anything like that. And the second is a large country, preferably a top 10 country as far as economic power, announces legal tender for Bitcoin. I think those are the only two things that can be like, you can point to it and say that was the reason we came out of the bear market. Other than that, I think you're going to have to see a little bit of everything. You're going to have to see market sentiment change. You're going to have to see the overall macro environment be bullish. You're going to have to see the inflation numbers start coming down, interest rate hikes slowing or even decreasing. So that's just my thing. And
in the chat, everybody's saying, where Big Rob at? They want to know if I'm at my mansion. So this is actually not my my mansion. My house is slightly smaller, but I'm actually at Lake I'm at Lake Las Vegas. So it's
and yes,
like
we do have a lake in Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
Go too far, so yeah, you can see there. That's the lobby here. There's a lake out there. You can't see it with the light, but anyways.
You should have.
Are you wearing your Speedo?
Not right now. It's a little windy, and I got my kids with me.
What does that have to do with wearing a Speedo?
I don't know.
Hey,
hey,
quick,
man, I'm just saying. I get a little ticklish, if you know what I'm saying. When
Dummy. So, did you catch the comment Eddie made about him being better than you at Warzone?
I did. It's funny. Eddie,
Daniel.
You know what? We have different skills. So it's like you can't have when you go to a battle, for example, you don't want to have snipers or archers only. You want to have somebody that's good at X and Y. I need somebody that's good at A and B. I'm good at A through X, and then Eddie's good at Y and Z. So
yeah,
there's a
backhanded compliment. Like, how annoying is that? This guy. God, I'm so happy you're not here. So Daniel is hypothesizing that you only came on because you were mad at that comment, which I can see that happening.
Dude, I was literally fumbling to pull out my laptop. I'm like, "Where's it at? Where is it at?" And I'm just
what
like,
did he say?
I'm like,
oh man! All right,
we got 23 people in the chat.
Let's get.
We got 23 people in the chat. Let's get this party open, bro.
You gonna open the club today or what?
Robin's living the good life.
Yeah,
he wants to share some of his wealth with you guys. So if we get 30
people
in the chat,
I'm actually quite disappointed.
I never given away money. I want to give away money.
You want to give away money?
I'll give away money today. Yeah.
You want it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
You get to 30 viewers. How much am I getting? $50.
Wow.
30 viewers.
Eddie is
bucks.
personally
Eddie's
going to be giving you $50 in Bitcoin if we get to 30 viewers. Eddie?
Hey, since I'm not in the studio, can I enter? Because first of all, my kids both got iPads.
How about
this?
We'll make you a deal. If you enter and you get drawn, you have to send us $50 in Bitcoin. Deal?
Man. I'm just kind of disappointed because they got a bar here in the lobby and it's supposed to be open at 11, and I keep looking back, but
tell me you're an alcoholic without telling me you're an alcoholic. All right, now let's get back to the markets here real quick. Rounding out the top 10, we do have Cardano sitting at 66 cents. Huge fan of Cardano. I went over their Charles's tweet talking about Terra Luna, how it crashed, and why it is so important to take your time because people's money are at stake. So I have literally been buying Cardano. I don't want to say every day, but every other day. Cardano, along with Bitcoin, will be my 2 biggest bags, and they will make me, well, Cardano will make me very rich in the next bull run. And then you have BUSD and Terra UST rounding out the top 10. Now, fear and greed index. I almost forgot. We are at 10. Extreme fear. People are crying. We've seen more plane flights booked for people to go visit their mommies to cry in their laps, including Robin and Eddie. But all jokes aside, it's probably going to go a little, well, not after today. The market's rallied a little. But to me, it's the same saying, right? And we don't like Warren Buffett because he's anti-crypto. But, I mean, he's got a point. Be greedy when people are fearful and be fearful when people are greedy.
You think that's ever going to change?
No, absolutely not. No. That's how, man, if you can control your emotions, right? Why do you think every chart we talk about, candles, it's all sentiment. Traders, investors, majority of investors, retail investors, they make monetary decisions based on their emotions, their emotional decisions. So when you look at a candle on a chart, from the wicks and the body, you can tell the sentiment of the market. And I will go over that again at the end of the show. But here's the thing. If you're a believer that crypto and Bitcoin isn't going anywhere, be scared all you want. Sell me your bag. I'll buy it. And then when you come back, when the sentiment is up and you come back and try to buy, you're going to have to pay a premium for that Bitcoin you sold me when the markets are down. So Robbie jinxed us, man. We're back down to 16 viewers. Shame on you. Just go ahead and leave. All right. We are done with our market overview. We are keeping Rob here for our hot take, which is our next segment. Mr. Producer, roll the hot take.
It's hot.
Our hot take today is simple.
All right. And then I'm going to have to leave after this hot take because I got my kids in the bedroom by themselves. And I got to make sure they ain't burning the thing down.
You want to leave now?
No, I'm good.
I'm kidding, Stan.
We'll do the hot take.
So our hot take for today is simple. Is UST dead? Is it dead? Eddie, I'll let you go first, my friend.
What was the question?
Is UST dead? Is Terra Luna's stablecoin, is it dead in the water?
I don't think so, no.
No?
It's just going through a little hiccup. Especially once I was reading the article earlier about the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, calling for a stablecoin regulation.
Yeah.
So if they could figure that out, I don't think it's dead. Regardless, I don't think it's dead. What happens, I think it will go back to $1.
We're
yeah,
close.
it's at 90. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, no, I don't think it's dead.
But what about, I mean, because surely people's confidence in UST has shrunk, right? You don't think that's going to have any effect on future users of UST?
Maybe, but I think they'll rally up again. And once you see the potential, you already see it. It was, like you said, it was at 69 cents. Now it's at 91. Yeah. So I think, I don't know, people still trust it, believe in it. So no.
I mean, you can spin the narrative anyway, right? You can people can say, "Oh, look what happened." People can say, "Oh, look how we rebounded," right? So, Robin, what are your thoughts? Is UST dead? Are they in the frying pan?
Bro.
Are they snap crackle pop?
Okay, let's think about what's going on. Okay, let's take a step back and look at the situation. All right, you have a dollar stable coin that has not been a dollar for over 24 hours. Let that sink in. You have a dollar stable coin that is not a dollar. What are you supposed to do with a dollar stable coin that's not a dollar? You don't use it. And so right now it's broke. You can't hodl it. Like, what are you expecting it to go to $5? Like, here's the thing. Like, it has absolutely no function. And the only reason people are even holding it right now is for the simple premise of, I hope it gets back to $1 so I don't lose money on it. It'll get back to $1. I think it's going to get back to $1. Yeah, I hope it gets back to $1. I mean, I think more likely than not, it'll get back to $1. I think it'll be fine. But you know what? There's a couple things you don't want to play around with. Is a dollar stable coin. Like, honestly, like, what moving forward, why in the hell would you park any kind of major capital in a shaky stable coin versus USDC Circle stablecoin. Like, I mean, honestly, like, what is the benefit? Now, I know you can use UST, and you can stake it on Anchor, or you can earn yield on it, and I know you can get 18%. So I understand, when I say why would you do that, but I'm just looking at it from a risk reward kind of situation. And for me, risking all of your stablecoin capital by simply just getting 18%, that's not worth it, man. At least not for me. And when I say that not worth it, right now it's not worth it. And, like right now, today, next week, maybe next month, there's no reason for me to use UST. There's zero reason. The risk is too high. There's too many question marks. It's a dollar stablecoin that's not even a dollar. It's fallen twice. It's still under a dollar right now. Like, if it's still under a dollar right now, that's a problem. You know what I mean? It's not like it just can't freaking wick down there. And you know what? If there's stability there and things change, I'd be happy to get back into it. I like the idea of an algorithmic stablecoin. I think it's great. Well, take the power out of the institution and have mathematics do it. I mean, it makes sense. But just right now, there's no point in risking it.
But here's the thing, man. Is it really a decentralized stablecoin when you need a centralized entity like the Luna Foundation to deploy Bitcoin to stabilize your price? Is it truly decentralized?
But here's the question: does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, you're using
labeling a stablecoin as a decentralized
what I'm saying,
stablecoin.
I'm saying it from a consumer's viewpoint. From a consumer's viewpoint, if you're going to use a dollar or an institution, if you're going to use a dollar to purchase cryptocurrency, does it really matter to take on any unneeded risk in holding a stablecoin? Like, I mean, why are you even risking it? Why are you even taking a chance? Like, just use USDC, use Tether, and then you have one less point of failure, bro. I mean, I'm talking about mitigating risk. At the moment, yeah, I'm not saying that I would completely write off algorithmic stable coins. I'm not saying that I would write off UST, but right now I would. Right now, like, why would you take the risk? That's all I'm saying. And if for some reason, or not saying for some reason, but when time moves forward and things become more secure and stable, and through the test of time, you see that something is reliable, in the same way that people weren't FOMOing into Bitcoin when it was 2 or 3 years old. It just hadn't been tested yet. It hadn't been attacked. It hadn't been, vetted. And, institutions weren't dumping all their money there. It just hadn't established itself yet. And now through, the course of 12, 13 years with Bitcoin, we see that it's a secure network that's privy to attacks, and it's fine. I mean, it's not going anywhere. But at the same time, you can't say the same thing for an algorithmic stablecoin. I mean, it's a new project. It's an experiment, and I think it'll be the future. Just I wouldn't risk putting money into it. It's a stablecoin. You're not going to make any money off of it outside of staking for 18%.
Well,
it's too much risk right now.
And and that's what happened. And that is why UST is dead. It might not be dead in price, but it's dead as far as adoption. The only reason people were buying, I mean, you had companies like Abracadabra go out and leverage loan hundreds of millions of dollars, buy UST, and then stake it on Anchor and earn 18%. Who wouldn't, right? Who's paying you 18% for a stablecoin? And then what happens on the flip side? They start pulling all their money out. Anchor crashes, Terra crashes, UST crashes, and people lose faith. So the retail investors are left holding bags of sub-dollar stablecoins. What I'm curious is how in the world is this going to affect Cardano's new algorithmic stablecoin, Jed? That testnet is out.
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's the Near protocol. There's Cardano one. There's also
to me, Cardano is the most important because of what I talked about earlier in the show and what Charles tweeted. They've taken their time on this. If anything, it's a good thing for Jed that this happened with UST because they can look at, okay, what went wrong? Do we have safeguards to make sure this doesn't happen? And if we don't, how do we add those safeguards? So if you see the mainnet launch on schedule, know that they were ahead of the game. They knew something like what happened to UST could happen to their stablecoin, and they got ahead of the game. If you see the mainnet be pushed back, understand that they saw the issue and it wasn't already in their code or in their program, and they went back and added those safeguards in. So curious to see if the mainnet.
But here's the thing: like they're not going to change. They're not going to change anything to the idea. So the idea of an algorithmic stablecoin,
but they can change the schematics of it, right?
No. But here's what I'm saying. No, the idea is that okay. Say you have what was the name of the Cardano one? The Jeb, right? Or
Jed.
Jeb, like crypto Jeb, kind of.
No, JED, like David.
Jed. Okay, Jed. So the way that one's going to work is the same way that UST works, and it's simple. The price of Jed goes down by 1 penny. You buy it in corresponding with Cardano, and then that raises the price, and then you trade it, and then if it goes the opposite direction, you sell it, and then you buy Cardano and you make money. And that's the premise of an algorithmic stablecoin. And now here's where the shortfall is if you have a big sell-off, and we see it all the time in crypto, and that's what makes it scary, is that if you have a big-ass sell-off, if the price of Cardano goes from $1 down to 30 cents, and it just kind of and then it shoots back up, it drops down, shoots back up, but essentially it does that in like, say, 30 hours, there's no way you're going to be able to execute these trades to balance out the price of Jed stablecoin, at least not with the current format. And the current format is you just trade it for the corresponding native asset. And so and Do Kwon and the Terra Luna Foundation knew that, and that's why they were trying to implement this Bitcoin kind of thing as a safeguard. They just hadn't integrated it. So they, like I said, they're just trying to fix a problem by just dumping Bitcoin on it, which kind of fixed it. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all have a good rest of the show. I'm gonna go.
Thanks for check on my kids. Show,
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you always coming.
I'm gonna go hit the hot tub. Have a Mai Tai.
Go take a shower in the fountain.
Yeah, hot tub and Mai Tai, baby. All right, guys.
Of course, you're drinking Mai Tai. All right, we'll talk to you later, buddy. Take care.
Man.
Later.
So, it's interesting, and Sean brought up a good point. Arbitrage. When it goes to a penny one, you sell. When it drops under, you buy, and you can arbitrage. Now, a penny might not seem like a lot of money, but multiply that by the scale of millions, hundreds of millions, and now you're making money. Just simply arbitraging one side to the next. So we are done with our market overview. Now we are rolling right into our very next segment. Mr. Producer, the talking points. All right. So the first article I want to talk about, well, I need to show this tweet first. So a lot of tweets today. Twitter was on fire yesterday. So, Rocco, will you pull up my laptop? So, Sensei to Crypto, yours truly. By the way, 99% of the tweets are from me. If you see any grammatical errors or weird capitalizations or weird things, it's Robin, just so you know. So I tweeted this yesterday at 4 o'clock. Be prepared for an influx of tweets from all the anti-crypto folks using the UST depegging as a catalyst for a new round of crypto FUD. Well, guess what? It wasn't a tweet, but someone did speak out. And it was our favorite. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen points to UST slip, asks for new stablecoin legislation by the end of this year. And this article was written this morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. So about 4 hours ago, this was written. Now, it goes on to say, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is still calling for stablecoin legislation by the end of this year in response to questioning on stablecoins from Senator Pat Toomey. At a May 10th hearing, Yellen confirmed that, quote, it is important, even urgent, that Congress pass stablecoin legislation. She further called it highly appropriate that Congress do so by the end of the year. And she goes on to talk about the UST drama. Quote, A stable coin known as Terra USD experienced a run and declined in value. I think that this simply illustrates that this is a rapidly growing product and there are rapidly growing risks. True. Here's my issue, though. Can I trust you? Can I trust our politicians? Can I trust our regulators to come up with common sense regulation that is not going to stifle innovation? No, I don't. I don't. So although I do agree that the sector needs to be a little more regulated, help the retail investors feel a little more comfortable, but you got to...
Do you think what she's asking is appropriate by the end of the year, or do you think that's too quick to make an assumption?
Honestly, bro, do you think, like, with all the problems facing our country, inflation, supply chain, the employment gap, I mean, for every one person, there is 3 job openings.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. You got that. You got the new lockdowns in China, the supply. I mean, where does this rank? A stable coin, where does it rank in the list of importance? Is it in the top 5?
No.
Is it in the top 10?
No, not top.
No.
Probably not top 15.
So,
20.
no, seriously. And again, like, yes, we need some regulation, but do you trust our government to come up with logical legislation that'll not stop? Rocco, do you? Do you trust our government?
That's a question that no.
No. Yeah, exactly. That's a question I think. No, actually, no. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you, Eddie? You don't trust him, right?
No, especially if they give time frames and then they have everything going on right now in the world, and it's just like by the end of the year, no, definitely, I don't think it's gonna happen. Should it happen? Yeah, I kind of agree with what she's saying. Yeah, there has to be like regulations or legislation. But yeah, by the end of the year, her calling it out and saying it like that, I don't think it's gonna happen.
You want Congress to pass legislation in 6 months on a sector they have no idea about. Is that feasible? Chat, I'm asking you, is it feasible? Put a 1 in the chat if 6 months is enough time to come up with regulation for a brand new sector, essentially a brand new sector of the economy. Put a 2 if it's not. My answer is 2.
Do you need a new regulation for a new sector? Do you think so? Because people
okay, commodity, security, this and that, but essentially, they've never had to regulate stable coins or crypto. So to them, it's new.
Oh, for them, yeah.
Right? That's why, we talked about this yesterday, or Robin talked about it, or they talked about it around the blockchain. They try to stuff it in these baskets that they don't belong in. And so that's what they're going to try to do, and they're going to make a mistake. And it's going to screw everything up. People are going to panic, and this shit's going to dip again.
You don't think they're going to make a mistake anyway? If you try to regulate from the beginning.
Yeah, but at least give yourself some time.
Okay.
Give yourself some time. You're giving the Congress 6 months. That's not nearly enough time.
We don't even have a spot ETF. I don't know if...
Yeah, look how long it's taking for a spot ETF.
Yeah, so
You think,
that's going to work anyway. So.
Trust me, if we see a bill by the end of 2022, it's a BS, bad for crypto, rushed bill. Mark my words on that. So, again, yes, there's always risk to investing. I feel like as a market sentiment as a whole, we've gotten over the fact that crypto is going away. Crypto is going to zero. I think we can all agree crypto's here to stay. The question is, there's risk. There's a chance of losing money. You also know there's a chance of making a lot of money. So what's your level of risk? And everyone's is different. I'm a very risky guy. I like to take a lot of
Bullish
risk.
Kenny said, I trust him as much as I trust Google to diagnose me with a common cold.
Dude.
Instead of cancer.
Comment of the day right there, man. So I used to have really bad anxiety, and especially with my health. I was a what is it called? Hypochondriac. My grandma was one too. So same thing. Every time I feel got pain in my neck. Google, pain in my neck, WebMD. Could be lymphatic cancer. Your lymph nodes are falling out of your body. Like what? Stop doing that, by the way. I've gotten over that. But yeah, that's funny. All right, let's move on. So this is very, very, very important. If you haven't heard of the ESG, they are essentially something created by BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager. A lot of people say they even control or have a very, very high influence on the decisions that governments make. So this is the power of BlackRock. And they created ESG. And essentially, if you don't fit into their ESG mold, your company and your product is deemed not investable. And so will ESG be behind the next bullish Bitcoin narrative? Tech investor, fund manager, and ESG-focused exec Daniel Batten believes that not investing in Bitcoin is gross negligence when it comes to ESG obligations. Now, real quick, ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance, and are a set of standards investors use to screen potential investments, not just in assets, but in research and development, manufacturing, and more. Essentially talks about the environmental part is energy consumption and potential pollution. Social looks at branding, business practices, working conditions, charitable donations, and the governance is essentially transparency with accounting and business practices. The narrative that took momentum out of the crypto bull run and brought on a bearish stretch was none other than the controversy surrounding proof of work and how Bitcoin is bad for the environment. Since Q1 of last year, the renewable growth rate reached 59% on Bitcoin. The same rate is up 383% since 2013. At this rate, Bitcoin mining has reached 58% renewable energy usage, significantly more than most other sectors and countries. So can we finally put this Bitcoin is bad for the environment thing? Can we tuck it away? We tuck it in bed and then put the pillow on top of it and just choke it and just kill it? God, stop. No more. No more Bitcoin's bad for Bitcoin mining's bad. And I don't know if it was in this article, but it talked about how some mining companies are starting to build their mining rigs or their mining warehouses next to data centers, because data centers, all the excess energy that's burned off, they're trying to capture that heat to use to mine Bitcoin. Do you see data centers getting any heat for being bad for the economy? No, because it's important for them to keep your information on their cloud services on the internet so they can access it whenever they want. He goes on to say, Bitcoin mining's renewable adoption story can inspire already fast-moving industry sectors as to what's possible. I said in a tweet, potentially be used to reduce our global emissions by up to 8% by 2030. So he's saying Bitcoin mining could potentially reduce our global emissions by 8%, not just the U.S., global, simply by converting the world's wasted and dangerous methane emissions into 80 times less harmful emissions. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. ExxonMobil recently revealed a secret project to cut down on its pollution by using Bitcoin mining. So they're essentially using Bitcoin mining to help the environment, but also to make them some money. If I've ever seen a win-win, this is it. Now, Eddie, if the ESG, which rules investment, essentially rules the entire markets, I would say, if they're behind Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining, is this the catalyst to lead to mass adoption, not just in retail, but in institutions as well?
Yeah, and you're saying it's BlackRock, right?
BlackRock, yeah.
Yeah, and they're the biggest asset management firm in the world, right?
World.
Yeah, in the world. So anything that they're doing, I'm pretty sure, like they know what they're doing. So yeah, I stand behind it. They know what they're doing. So I think we all should. It is going to move forward, and it is bullish.
Not only do they know what they're doing, but they essentially have a say and control over every other company, every other investment company, hedge fund, whatever the case may be. If your product and your company is looking to raise money and you're not ESG compliant, you get zero. You will essentially die. So for this to come out, and for this person, Daniel Batten, who is an ESG-focused executive, for him to come out and say this, I think is huge. You already saw BlackRock dabble in Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. BlackRock is at the stamp of okay. Hate to say it, for one company to have so much power, but if they give the approval stamp, watch for a big shift in sentiment.
I have a question for you, David. What's the whole narrative, and why is there such a big people say this, companies say this, legislation, government say Bitcoin mining is so bad, and then they come out with articles like this saying that, is it just people trying to lead them on the wrong way, saying that mining is so horrible for the environment, and then you have articles like this saying, you know, it's better than your standard typical, you know, carbon dioxide release in the air and stuff.
So let me give you an example, okay? We're both have all of us, all four of us, me, Rocco, Eddie, and Robin, we have a history in the restaurant industry, okay? Let's say you have a $300 check, and you get a $50 tip, right? It's a little under 20%. You might say, wow, I got 18%. That's pretty good. Rocco might say, I didn't get 20%. That's shitty. Those people suck.
Yeah.
You can essentially take any narrative. You can pinpoint facts that fall into your baseline of the argument you're trying to make, and you can make those in favor of the argument you're trying to make. So you have the anti-Bitcoiners. They can't shit on the inflation schedule. They can't shit on the hard money. They can't shit on the scarcity, the value, people using it. So what do they have? Oh my God, look at this chart. Bitcoin mining consumes more energy than Argentina. That's their whole thing. But what they don't understand is as the network grows and as these miners, think about if you're a miner, okay, your Marathon, your freaking Riot, whatever the case may be, you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on mining rigs. And you know there's pressure as far as the environment, the climate. You don't think they're gonna find ways to offset those greenhouse gases or the carbon footprint? Of course they are. They're already doing it, and here are the numbers to back it up. So eventually, when this whole narrative of it's bad for the environment goes away, what leg do the anti-crypto, anti-Bitcoin people have to fall on? Besides price volatility, right? What else is there going to be? When Bitcoin reaches 100% carbon offset or 100% renewable energy, what are you going to have to stand on? Anti-crypto people, anti-Bitcoin people? Nothing. Zero. I'm sure you'll find something. But yeah, they'll always find some. But essentially nothing. And to have the ESG behind it is huge. To have BlackRock behind it is huge. Again, I'm not advocating for one company, one centralized entity to have this much power and control over decisions, but they do. And, you know, can't beat the game, you play the game.
I think that most of these company is a way for them to make it legit. You know, okay, now we have a control on the emission and everything, and then you know that many countries that pollute like China, you can buy the carbon
offset
from somebody else that doesn't pollute that much, and I think that's there'll always be some haters, but you know, I guess I agree. It's good for Bitcoin, but on the other hand, they say, okay, it's the usual mafia that now they need to be part of this group where now they have their own footprint. But then, like you say, it doesn't really pollute them much, you know, if you compare it with other stuff. So that's what I think. It is needed for Bitcoin and crypto to kind of, you know, but on the other hand, it's just money grabs.
You know, I agree with you, man. And, you know, you said, they get their stamp of approval, they're good. When is that going to happen? We don't know. But we do know, you follow the numbers, you follow what actions, not words. The miners are already way ahead of this, and they're going to keep staying ahead of it. Next thing you know, you're going to have Tesla say, okay, we're going to accept Bitcoin again. They're over 50% renewable. That number is going to continue to grow. And according to this guy that literally just focuses on ESG and companies, he says Bitcoin mining can be used to get rid of 8% of the world's, not the U.S., not China, the world's carbon footprint. Amazing. All right, let's move on to our good friends in El Salvador. President Bukele, who, by the way, yesterday on the dip bought 500 Bitcoin worth $15 million at a price of a little over $30K. I believe it was $30,200. And off the heels of that buy, we see the Bitcoin city, what it could possibly look like. So, Rocco, please pull up my laptop. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele released the model of Bitcoin City. And I'm going to go to their Twitter to show you the pictures. Bitcoin City is set to have 0% income, cap gains, property, payroll, and municipal taxes, as well as 0% CO2 emissions. The location is meant to be near La Union, a small Salvadoran city. Now, it's important, as I show you these pictures, please keep in mind, Bitcoin City will not be golden, which I thought it should be for sure, but it's not. And here are the pictures. So this is looks like a I don't know what the hell it looks like. But here are the pictures for you guys. This is kind of what it's gonna look like. Obviously, this is a model, obviously, and you can kind of zoom in. It looks like they have a lot of skyscrapers. Pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? So there's here's some close-ups of what I just showed you guys. So that's gonna be I was trying to think of something funny to make fun of Robin, but I can't. It looks like a little fidget spinner thing in the center. It's pretty cool. You can go there and play the fidget spinner. And this is yeah. And then a nice Bitcoin, big Bitcoin. But here's a picture that really intrigued me. That I thought it was super cool. Was this one down here? Nope, this one. Nope, this one. Look how cool that is, man. This city is essentially built on the base of a volcano. Now, to those of you who live there, I would buy a lot of life insurance because if that volcano erupts, you're all you're all
I'm
fucked.
hoping it's inactive.
You all done for, man. You magma soup.
That's dope, man. I didn't know
That
about
looks
this
cool, right?
until-
That looks
until
super
today,
dope,
yeah.
man. And so they're essentially going to use this volcanic power to mine the Bitcoin and to keep the city going. Like,
Oh, so it's active.
I mean, the volcano doesn't be active to
It's gonna be
produce
a Bitcoin
power.
meltdown.
Yeah, Bitcoin's literally. Here's my question to all three of you. You know what? This is a question for everyone. Once this is fully built out, will you go visit
Yes.
Bitcoin City? Yes?
And that's coming from, like, I'm half Salvadorian.
Oh, you
and,
are?
yeah, I'm half.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And my grandma always invites me, like, every other year.
Wow.
And
So
I just-
grandma's going to invite you one year. You're going to say, okay, but little does she know, Eddie's coming to visit for Bitcoin City,
Yeah.
not for Gam
I'm
Gam.
going to take her to Bitcoin City.
That's messed up.
Just
Rocco?
has it, like, intrigued me. Like, I haven't been wanting to go.
El
Even though
Salvador?
I know it's a beautiful country, but I just haven't wanted to go.
Is it because
but
you're only half?
I don't know. Probably.
What if you're full Salvadorian?
They'll
You
make
would
me
probably
out
go
there.
visit
They'll
them.
make me out there pretty quick. They'll know I'm half for sure.
Yeah, probably. Rocco, what about you? Are you going to be visiting Bitcoin City?
Yes, of course. Anywhere, that's
Anywhere?
my bucket list.
Chat, put a 1 if you're going to visit Bitcoin City when it's fully operational. Put a 2 if for some reason you're not. And then just a couple more pictures I want to show you guys. So this is off the coastline, and this is going to be the view from Bitcoin City. So yeah, man, it's gonna be cool, man.
Just move there, dude.
I definitely want to go visit.
Let's move there.
I don't know about moving there, but and then this is kind of like a futuristic, pretty cool. This is where we're gonna tell Robin, hey Robin, let's go sightseeing, and then push him off the ledge. Man. Sin City Crypto wants to know how much Bitcoin does Gam Gam have? I'm trying to get my mom to buy Bitcoin. She won't buy Bitcoin. I don't understand it. I'm like, well, I literally just told you. But anyway. Does your grandma have any Bitcoin? You
No,
send your
she
grandma any
doesn't,
Bitcoin? No.
She was saying some things about it. I asked her about it, and she said, "Yeah, it's because she does have family. We do have family out there, but it's mostly her, her sisters, her aunt, cousins, and stuff."
Fair enough.
And she said the dollar is still more dominant out there than anything else.
The US dollar, yeah.
Yeah, the U.S. dollar. But they are like adapting to it. They are educating them more about it out there, so that's cool.
When Bitcoin reaches 100K, El Salvador, Nayib Bukele is going to look like a godsend. He is literally going to, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. El Salvador is not at the top of the list as far as economically powerful countries, right?
No, it's like-
I don't want to say they're a poor country, but they're not top 20 as far as economy and wealth, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
His plan is going to bring so much wealth and abundance to his people in El Salvador. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
That'll be amazing.
It is going to be amazing. And not will. It is.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. And we're all going to be here for the ride.
And I'm going to say that Sean, very funny, say, when you zoom out on a Bitcoin City, it looks just like a burned potato chip. And when he's
It
going to
does.
visit the city, they want to know when the next volcanic eruption is going to be scheduled. So.
Oh, God. Yeah. That schedule comes out next month, so keep an eye on it. All right. Let's move on. The SEC fines tech giant NVIDIA for alleged inadequate disclosures on impact of crypto mining on revenue. The U.S. SEC is fining tech giant NVIDIA for inadequately disclosing how much crypto mining directly impacted the company's stream, the revenue stream. I don't get this. Like, I mean, and I could be wrong, but as a publicly traded company, do you have to disclose every single, like, we made 50 million this year off of our graphics cards. Well, what were the graphics cards used for? And how much money were the parts? And like, if that's the case, that's messed up. But if not, what does it matter? Like, this is their profit. You tax them on it. What the hell does it matter what percentage came from mining? According to a recent statement released by the SEC, NVIDIA failed to accurately divulge that crypto mining was critical to how much money they earned in the fiscal year of 2018 through selling graphics GPUs, which are usually associated with PC gaming. This is a quote. The SEC's order finds that during consecutive quarters in NVIDIA's fiscal year 2018, company failed to disclose that crypto mining was a significant element of its material revenue growth from the sale of its GPUs designed and marketed for gaming.
Why do they care?
That's what I'm like.
I don't understand. NVIDIA was mining with his own.
No.
Graphics
So
also.
their graphics cards were being used for mining.
Okay.
And so they didn't tell the SEC that in their revenue report that, hey, a lot of this came from mining. But what does it matter? Right?
Tax him more? What?
No, I don't know. Like,
You
I
say-
literally don't know.
You say if I sell the graphic card, right? I'm NVIDIA. I'm selling you the graphic card.
Right.
You can mine, or you can just use it for
Right.
streaming. Let's
They're
say.
saying,
Yeah.
hey,
You make
NVIDIA.
$1 million either way. So you say NVIDIA, now you gotta pay for it.
Yeah,
No,
they,
no,
they have
it-
a product and they want to know who's getting it. And
It's like, hey, NVIDIA, why didn't you tell us that a majority of the graphics cards you were selling, people were using them to mine Bitcoin?
They even limited they limited the hash rate on the card. I don't understand.
They did.
And if you go buy, especially a year ago, you buy a graphic card, you will be asked for the NID each time.
Oh, really?
The store asked me, Micro Center, Best Buy. I don't know if it's just.
They asked for your ID?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Only if you buy graphic cards, and that's.
they did it for my Xbox too.
That was
asking
kinda,
for my
it was
ID.
kind of weird.
Yeah, because people were, during COVID, people were
Jesus.
buying them and reselling them or triple the value.
Yeah.
But that's crazy for the government asking for NVIDIA to pay to let them know that people use the card to mine. That's pretty much.
So
make no
according
sense.
to Robin, who's in the chat, he said all profits and losses need to be transparent and where they come from for a publicly traded company. Well, that's dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah, but not for somebody else mining. I don't understand it. I don't understand the part.
It's like I buy a golf club, but I want to use it for a tennis.
And you
Oh.
make $1 million. And
Yeah.
then
Stupid. All right, let's move on. You got anything to say on this, Eddie?
No.
It's pretty straightforward.
Oh,
Rocco?
well, I just want to, it was a very good day a couple days ago for miners.
Okay.
Because all these graphic cards actually they're being unlocked.
What?
So you'll be able to go full 100% hash rate.
Did you say they're unlocked?
Unlocked. Yeah, because when you buy,
What?
if you buy the version 1 of the graphic card, they were unlocked. Then
Right.
NVIDIA locked the card.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then it was only 70%, I think, 65. And different miners come with different algorithms where you can change it.
Right.
And now finally we are 100%. So
Wow.
yeah.
Is
Why
that?
issues-
But do you think that's something NVIDIA will go back and change?
No, they can go back once the
Like maybe for the newer models that come out, like the next 6 months to a year?
No, one of the things is that after the merge, we're gonna see what's going on. All these people, they have this warehouse
Right.
with all the equipment. We're gonna see
Hardware.
what they're gonna switch to. Zilliqa, Ethereum Classic, Flux probably is gonna be the next thing. Probably Ethereum Classic will be the first thing. One of the reason being is exactly the same settings
As ETH.
Ethereum and power consumption. If you try to mine Raven, Flux, or other things, you need to change all your setting and way more, much heat and more power.
Right.
So it depends also, then we need to figure it out which direction the market is going to take.
Right.
But I guess people are going to switch probably to Ethereum Classic right away.
I think so too, and I think it'll help.
So a couple play probably right before the merge, get some Ethereum for sure.
Yeah.
And probably, if you don't mind, get some Ethereum Classic. Just
Just in case.
in case, I would say, yeah.
Not financial advice, but Rocco says buy Ethereum Classic. Rocco, you're fired again. Just kidding.
During the day.
Yeah, no, I thought it was funny. And then one more thing, is there another thing I wanted to show you? Oh yeah, there's one more article I want to go over before we get into our market analysis. More than a third of AMC online payments are crypto or digital, says their CEO. AMC Theater's CEO Adam Aron stated that crypto, along with several other digital payment methods, recently accounted for 35% of its online payments. Now, the 35% isn't just all crypto, it's all digital payments. Now, here's the cool part. The same IT programming that was required for us to accept cryptocurrency also enabled us to accept other payment types, including Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, BitPay, and Venmo, among others. Taken together, these various new payment options impressively recently represented about 35% of our total online payments. With the impact of the global pandemic starting to wane in 2022 and lockdowns out of sight, AMC posted a strong year-over-year improvement in its Q1 report, with total revenue growing 429% compared to, which is $785 million compared to $148 million in Q1 of 2021. Did Bitcoin and crypto just save AMC? Just kidding. That's a little bit of a stretch to say, but it did open. He did mention. It did open the gateway for them to take stuff like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo. My question is, though, if you're a pretty big company like AMC, why did it take you so long to include Apple Pay and Venmo and Google Pay into your system, right?
Yeah, that's so.
Right? It's a little
That should be
sketch.
like the norm for any company, like even startup company, to just be able to pay with Apple Pay or
Yeah.
anything of those
I mean,
sorts.
it's-
I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
I
get
feel like
that.
it should be standard.
Yeah.
Have you went to any AMC theater and paid with SHIB or Doge, Eddie?
No.
Would you? If I send you $15 in SHIB, would you spend that for a movie ticket?
Yeah. Just
You
to
would?
just to get rid of it. Yeah.
Wow, that's fucked up. Oh, that's funny.
We still need to do the things. Go to the crystal and buy the.
Yeah, we had to buy the Gucci belt.
the Gucci
Yeah.
belt.
Ah,
The things is still
yeah.
on.
Whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah,
I'm
mark us
ready.
down. We need to regain our profits here a little bit, guys. All right, my friends, we are done with our talking point segment. We are now moving on to market analysis. Got a lot of metrics to show you guys and some TA. So let's get right into it. All right. So first couple of things I want to talk about. First thing I want to talk about, on-chain metrics for DeFi. And it ain't looking good. Over the last 24 hours, we've lost 13% in total value locked. If I go to the specific chains, and you can see Terra Luna, 47% over the last day. Their total value went from about 23 billion to 12 billion. No bueno for Terra Luna. If we click here, you can see Anchor's dominance is 57%. In my opinion, that is too much, because what happens, people made a run on Anchor and it completely tanked the entire Terra ecosystem. And you can see here, Anchor itself is down 40%. Total value locked is at 6.9. Not good. And, you know, the whole 18, 19% earnings on UST, that's not sustainable. And so now people, and you know, kind of going back to the hot take, now when people look at the Terra and they look at UST, is 18% worth possibly another depeg of the dollar and losing 40, 50% of the value of your money? I don't know. I don't know. For me, no. For me, the answer is no. The whole reason I move my money to stablecoin is to protect it and to use that as capital to buy more crypto as it's going down. Now, 18% is nice, but we all know that money comes from somewhere. And so when you got 18%, you got these big ballers, these big players who have access to hundreds of millions of dollars, and they decide to take all their money out. This is what happens. And so that'll continue happening as this continues. Now, I talked briefly about inflation. They are forecasting inflation to drop down to 2.86% in 2023. And like I said, I believe 8.5 last year or last month was the top on a year-over-year basis. Tomorrow will kind of show us the direction the market will go in over the next 2 to 3 months. If it comes out under 8.5 like they're forecasting, it'll be very good. We'll see Bitcoin rally up to 34,500 again, in my opinion, which if that does happen, I will be selling, not all, some of my Bitcoin, because I think it'll get rejected at 34.5 and drop back down to 32. So moving on, some metrics. Now, Bitcoin was dumping, but what were the shrimps doing? Now, you have whales who have a large amount of Bitcoin, and then you have the shrimps who have less than 10, I believe. And so I have the orange line represents Bitcoin wallet addresses with more than or equal to 0.1 Bitcoin. And the blue line is more than or equal to 1 Bitcoin. And you can see we've been steadily growing. And if I zoom in, we are currently at all-time highs for this metric here. So even though whales are dumping, the shrimps are accumulating. So retail continues to accumulate. Very bullish for Bitcoin. Next, I want to show you the mover Z-score. So this essentially tells us fair value of Bitcoin when Bitcoin is undervalued, when Bitcoin is overvalued, and you can see if I zoom in here, we are at all-time lows or all-time high as far as fair value for Bitcoin since May of 2020. And you can see when we reach this level, what happened to the price of Bitcoin. Let me get rid of that real quick. Sorry, guys. 2 seconds.
I'm just going to say something in the meantime.
Go ahead, buddy.
DFib, where you been? Okay, no, it's
DFib?
not wrong. DFib is here.
Yeah, DFib, you ain't getting no special Olaf from me, my friend. That's between you and your boy Robin. Now, if I kind of zoom in here, and again, May of 2020, we saw it at these same levels, 40. We're currently at 45 right now. And we saw a huge run up in the price of Bitcoin. Now, macro environments in May of 2020 were a little more bullish. People were a little more, their sentiment was a little better as far as the overall market. And with current macro market, I don't think we'll see a rally like that again. But people who invest a lot of money look at metrics like this. They factor this into their money-making decisions, their investment decisions. And right now, Bitcoin is extremely undervalued. So will they buy? We'll find out. The next one I want to talk about is Bitcoin's open interest for put to call options versus the price. And you can see here over 60% of all put and call options are in the favor of puts. If you're not familiar with options, they're essentially contracts that give you the right to buy and sell a asset at a certain predetermined price. A put option, people who put in put options, you expect the price to go down. People that put in a call option, you expect the price to go up. And you can see here, we've always had this balance of right around 50. So 50-50, and then you saw this giant imbalance here, and you saw the price of Bitcoin versus this metric completely diverge and go the opposite direction as Bitcoin's price tanked and as the open call interest approaches 60%. But there might be some silver lining here. Do you ever heard of go the opposite of what the crowd is doing, right? Do you really think 60% of traders are going to lose their money? 65% of traders are going to lose their money on options? Probably not. For one end of the option, someone buying a put, there's got to be a person willing to sell the put. And so I think it's going to go in the opposite direction. I think Bitcoin's price will go up. I think we'll get to about 33, 32.5, 33,000. Once the inflation reports come out tomorrow, we'll rally back to about 34.5, even maybe 35K. And then the macro environment will kick in again, and we'll come back down again. And then finally, net transfer volume from and to exchanges. We just saw, if I zoom in from here, so this zoomed in chart is from June of 2021 until current time. We saw this massive outflow from exchanges back in July of last year. We saw another massive outflow back in March of this year, March 11th. And then, of course, yesterday, people were just sending their Bitcoin to exchanges to cash out and liquidate. So the liquid supply went up. Illiquid supply went down. Short term, not very bullish, but there's going to be buyers. People are buying Bitcoin, and it remains to be seen if the Terra Luna Foundation will buy Bitcoin. We'll buy their Bitcoin back. If they do, it'll push the price up again. If they don't, we'll wait and see. Okay.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to ask you. There's somebody in the talks on the chat saying none of these DeFi return are sustainable. So my question, adding to these comments, is you have a stable coin that is unstable, and then you have all these big high yield. what is the difference today from like, let's say 4 years ago when I'm gonna say something that people gonna laugh about or maybe get scared or upset. Bitcoin Net, you know, where promising, you know, big return, big yields, and I see the project it didn't have success because the market plummeted completely. And what is different today? Institution are in.
I mean, look what it just happened with UST.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this stuff is only good when market conditions are good.
Okay.
But the money's got to come from somewhere.
Okay.
The money just doesn't come from thin air, right? They're paying you 18%. It's coming from somewhere. When the market's good, it's just like insurance companies, right? You pay your premium.
Bad, who's gonna pay? I mean, when this stuff happened.
That's why Anchor completely crashed, because people started pulling all their money off it. Also, we have a new person in the chat. Trev D's Chains. Typically, you would get an Olaf from our co-host Robin, but he's not here. So I will just nicely and quietly welcome you to our Crypto Fam. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. Also, welcome to the Crypto Fam. We appreciate having you here. All right, so let's take a quick look at BTC.
What's it called? DFib asked if you could show the double bottom on ETH year to date.
Yeah, I can do that. All right, so I've had this yellow line drawn for quite a while, 29,400. You can see almost a perfect bounce. Perfect bounce. I mean, we were literally like $50 away from a perfect bounce. We see a decent green candle, but nice volume. And then again, yesterday, we were in not super oversold, but the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, which measures oversold and overbought, we were at lows we hadn't seen for over a year. And we know what happens when a product or an investment is oversold. People come in and buy it. And that's what happened with Bitcoin. Again, I do believe, I don't think we're going to touch this red line, but I think we'll get about halfway there. We'll get to about 34,500 on the news of tomorrow. Just overall market sentiment getting better. UST can destabilize again. I think it'll be good for the market as a whole. Now, Terra Luna still dropping $26. Let me take a look at, let's see what UST's at. Is UST down again?
It was up.
No, UST's at 91 cents, but Terra Luna continues to take an absolute nosedive. Again, with Terra Luna, you are able to claim UST to Terra Luna 1-to-1. So what people are doing, they're moving money out of UST into Terra, but then dumping that Terra right away to kind of try to get some of their money back. And then here, you can see these last two candles. This was an extremely bearish candle here. This is called a inverted hammer. And then on the bottom here, we have what looks like to be a spinning top, which is uncertainty in the market from traders. They don't know. They're trying to push the price high. The buyers are not happening. Sellers are trying to push it low, not happening. It's kind of settling right in the middle. But tons and tons of volume today on Terra Luna. Will it stabilize? We'll find out. We'll find out in the next two candles. Where Terra Luna is going, is it going to crash down to all-time lows, or is it going to rebound and retest this $83 mark? We'll see. Here's the one I wanted to talk about, Polkadot. Project that's flying under the radar. You don't really hear anyone talking about it. Their parachains are continuing to go live, and we're at an extremely key support level. You hear all the technical gurus talk about keep it simple, buy support, sell the resistance. Well, guess what? You got in at $10 when it touched it down here today and yesterday. You would have already been in the green, over $2 a coin. And then your target profit, for me at least, would have been $16.79, the last swing high that we had. So, you know, not financial advice. But if you got in at Terra, or if you got in at Polkadot at $12.55, you can essentially cash out at $16.79 and make a little bit of money. Not financial advice. And then what do you want me to look at? ETH?
ETH, yeah. That's what DFib at. DFib asked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a nice double bottom right here. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
You saw a double bottom here. And you saw another bottom here. And you can almost, no, this wasn't really a bottom. But let me get rid of this real quick. It's bothering me. Yeah, that bull flag didn't really pan out like it should have, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, you see, we had a double bottom here at the 2,200 range. So now we can feel confident saying ETH's like very strong near-term bottom support level is This 2200, and if I draw a horizontal line here, you guys can see. 2163. That looks like a very strong support level for ETH. So if you picked up ETH at 2100 or low 2200s, congratulations, you are in the green. If you didn't, that's okay. But where do we see ETH go next? The thing ETH has that Bitcoin doesn't, the reason it's bouncing back more is because it has actual utility. Not saying Bitcoin doesn't have utility, but outside of transactions, what real utility does Bitcoin have? You know, with ETH, you got the NFT marketplace, you got DeFi, just their whole platform in general. So demand comes in a lot faster than that of Bitcoin. So ETH, just bullish in general on ETH. Just in the next, 18 to 36 months, I'll always be bullish on ETH unless something fundamentally changes. So,
And extremely oversold too, right?
yeah, everything was oversold.
Yeah.
So and that's where people make money. You have capital set aside for times like this, and you buy the dips. And in this case, you bought a cliff dive. And if you did, you are in the green today. Congratulations. Don't forget to take profits. In my opinion, this is not financial advice. You should always have a wallet or an account that you never touch, that you hodl, you don't care. You should always have an account that you are constantly looking to scalp profits and use those profits to buy back in, buy more coins when the price dips, or in this case, like yesterday, when the price is absolutely tanked. All right, that is all we got for the show today. Mr. Producer, please go ahead and roll the outro music. On behalf of myself, Rocco, Eddie, and unfortunately today, Robin, I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining us today. To all the new members to our community, welcome. We're excited to have you guys. We are a growing channel. Grow with us. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.
I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Smoking on the island, say she wanna ride with me. Took her on a flight, said all her bags from Italy. I sent her with a friend, they shopping there religiously. Whoa, whoa, yeah. She say she love me, but that's when she rockin' Prada bag. Said she ready for the next, I won't, not so fast. Slow down, slow down, slow down, girl, don't you crash. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Cause we can mess up that pretty face, but we can fuck up that pretty lady. Tryna kiss up, I'm in your place. Man, this shit so crazy. Never thought I'd be doing shit like this again. Put that effort in, girl, then I repay you. Crash that thing out the park, now I feel like Babe Ruth, baby. This shit I can't do, baby. No way I can't move, baby. Nothing I can't prove, baby. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Question marks along your brain, wonder if you should try again. Look at me inside your braces. Can't focus when we face to face. Plenty things I could go say. Name a place I go and pay at. Said she want no boo. Been around the world, plenty things I can show you. Taking flights to G.